Hello there, White Sox fans. I hope you are enjoying the couple of days off before we begin our first playoff series in a long time that will actually feature home games. And of course, historically, the first time ever the White Sox have been in the playoffs back-to-back seasons. Really amazing and a good time to be alive if you're a White Sox fan. So I thought it would be fun to, again, go back to something we did at the very beginning of the year. We did this in towards the end of spring training where we predicted what the roster would be. And before we get into that, actually, this is the place to make your picks to click for not this coming week, but for this coming series. Who do you think will be the best offensive player for the White Sox in this series against the Houston Astros? Just like the entire second half of the season, first, second, and third place will earn points. So let's take a look back at what we predicted for the opening day roster to be. Again, this was towards the end of spring training, but the decisions hadn't yet been made. We were pretty close, but there were a couple of misses on my part. Most of the starting lineup was pretty obvious with Abreu, Nicky Two Strikes, we'll miss you, Tim Anderson, Yan Moncada. Leury Garcia was put in. The day I was trying to do this was the day that it came out that Eloy was going to miss significant time due to injury. Luis in center. Somebody by the name of Adam Eaton in right field. Yasmani Grandal at catcher. We picked Andrew Vaughn to be DH, but that was not a slam dunk decision at the time, but it ended up coming true. And we knew our starting rotation. The interesting thing here is Dallas Keuchel was listed as our number 2 pitcher. He did not have a great year. Lincees Rodon was kind of a bubble player. Would he actually make the team or not? And it turned out pretty good for us and for Carlos Rodon. No surprises as we had Liam Hendricks at closer. Our bullpen, we actually started off with Matt Foster in that position. Not that these are ranked at all, but the fact that that was the first name that came to mind when I was putting this together is really telling for what we were expecting and what came out of Matt Foster's season. He has ended on an up note, so hopefully that continues through. Cody Hoyer, sadly for him, on the north side with Nick Madrigal. Michael Kopech, Crochet, Marshall, Bummer, and I made the out on a limb pick that Ruiz would make the team, and he did, and he stuck with us the entire season. I did not think that was going to happen. No, he's not your high leverage, amazing lights out reliever, but he did a very serviceable job as a guy that mostly was just asked to come in and mop up some innings here or there. He did a good job. Utility, we guessed Danny Mendick with a bench of 2 outfielders. Nick Williams, remember that name, not for long, and Billy Hamilton. And for the backup catcher, I went out on a limb and picked Jonathan Lucroy, not because I wanted him, but because it was recently reported that, I think it was Giolito said he liked to pitch to him. Some of our starters kind of backed him up, and it seemed like the kind of guy Tony La Russa would want to go with. So I do wonder if there was some pressure from the front office at all to say, hey, let's go with one of our own guys that we've been grooming for a long time. Now let's go in through here and make some updates and corrections, which Billy Hamilton did break camp with the team. Jonathan Lucroy did not. Mr. Zach Collins did. But also, let's do this for Williams. There was a third catcher. Yes, we broke camp with Yermin, of course. And the utility man was not Danny Mendick. It was Jake Lamb. Of course, the players on the injured list to start the season this year was Eloy Jimenez, Adam Engel, and Cordero, who of course missed the entire season due to Tommy John surgery. Probably will be able to start working at the beginning of next year. Maybe mid-season we'll be able to see him start to get some reps. Oh, and I think Jace Fry was still recovering from injury, although I can't remember. He was kind of on and off injury through the offseason. Whatever the case, he didn't break camp with the team. So now we know for the most part what our starting staff is going to be. We can very quickly replace Madrigal for Hernandez. Yes, Cesar Hernandez has not been amazing. He's been fine. I haven't actually looked at what his numbers were since joining the White Sox. I mean, he came over with a .230 batting average, but good power. We haven't seen that power very much, and I think his batting average is probably a little bit better. His defense has been pretty good. Probably not Gold Glove caliber like he was the previous season, but still definitely a good part of this team. And instead of Leury Garcia starting out in left field, we will be putting Eloy out there. The other big change in right field instead of Adam Eaton, of course. How would you say it? You know, I'm going to put Vaughn out there for right now, but we're going to talk about some position battles still left to be played out. So for the rest of the starting lineup, I'm just going to quick jump ahead to having that all filled out. So yes, I put Vaughn in right field. Possibly, there's a good chance I would say that he plays there. There's also the possibility that Brian Goodwin comes back off the injured list. He technically is eligible to come back off the injured list now. I don't know what's going to happen there. I think I'm going to keep him off. Maybe I'll put him down as a bench option right now, just for the time being. Well, I guess we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. I'm going to put Gavin Sheets in here at designated hitter right now. There is going to be some platoon action going on between Sheets and Vaughn, depending on if it's a righty or lefty up. Or actually, let's do this. Trying to play it as safe to be as accurate as possible. Adam Engel has not been great in his last few games back, but he is our right fielder. And then I'm going to put Vaughn over here, and I'm going to absolutely put Sheets as a bench option. But I do think it'll be Vaughn or Sheets at designated hitter, depending on the handedness of the pitcher we're going up against. Big question right now is who is going to be the number one pitcher in the rotation. Is it going to be Giolito or Lynn? In my mind, it doesn't matter. I love that we basically do have co-aces, two guys that we can rely on a ton. I'm going to keep Giolito here just because that's where he was in this sheet. Obviously, Lynn is coming in next. The next big question when it comes to our starting rotation is, will Carlos Rodon be able to go? He did look good for 5 innings at a time coming down the stretch for his final few games. So I'm going to pencil him in as our number 3 starter this for the offseason. My guess, my hope, as I'm passing along to White Sox management, is try to make sure Michael Kopech does not pitch in Game 2. Pitch him all you want in Game 1. But try to give him some rest in Game 2. That way, if Rodon falters, if he can only get through 2 or 3 innings, then Kopech can come in and pitch maybe another 2 or 3 innings. But let's keep Kopech fresh for Game 3. Let's keep him out of Game 2. Probably, I haven't looked around the entire bracket of all of the playoff teams, but I can't imagine that many teams have a better number 4 pitcher than the White Sox do in Dylan Cease. No, he didn't have the greatest season of all time, but he is growing and getting better and better, and my God, he's become a strikeout machine. I think he's our team leader in strikeouts this year. And of course, baseball teams don't utilize a 5th starter in the playoffs because there's more days off, guys are rested, so to keep them on the regular schedule, we're just going to leave this blank for now. The question right now is, does Dallas Keuchel earn a bullpen spot? I think there's a good chance at that, but let's take a look, see who we have out here. Closer, definitely still Mr. Liam Hendricks, and of course our top setup man is Craig Kimbrell. We'll skip ahead, fill a couple of these other ones in. Adding a new face compared to the beginning of the season is Ryan Tepera. Let's see, Evan Marshall is still dealing with an injury as far as I'm aware, which is really unfortunate. There was a chance that he was going to be able to come back before the end of the year. I have not heard any updates on that front. For now, at least, I will leave Ruiz in as well. Oh boy. Some good news. Oh my goodness. What a comeback from Reynoldo Lopez. He has been a very welcome addition to this team. Let's take a look at some stats very quickly. This year in 20 games, which includes 9 starts, he's got a 3.43 ERA. He has really turned the corner. It has been the best we've seen from Reynoldo Lopez in a long time. So he is absolutely making the playoff team. And really quickly, just to circle back on Jose Ruiz, he appeared in 59 games this season, throwing 65 innings and posting a 3.05 ERA. Hasn't been a lights-out guy, but has been very, very effective, and I think he's definitely earned himself a spot on this team. Okay, moving on from pitching for the moment to take a look at our bench. Our backup catcher, like it or not, is Zach Collins, and our utility guy will be Leury Garcia, so we are in great hands there. We're having a fantastic all-purpose utility guy that's gotten a lot of playing all over the place. And we know, I shouldn't say we know, but I highly suspect Billy Hamilton will be that great reserve player, Aloy's replacement in left at the end of the game, pinch runner, a guy that will definitely start on second base if the Sox unfortunately ever make it to any extra innings games. Hopefully we'll just win in 9. So the other question when you're constructing that playoff roster, as you are removing that 5th starter, what does it get replaced with? Does it get replaced with another bullpen piece, which would make quite a few pitchers? Or does it allow some versatility off the bench, allowing another position player? I'm going to guess that it's going to become another position player. Unfortunately, we don't have a huge slam dunk here. It could be Danny Mendick. Boy, wouldn't it be neat if it was Jermaine Mercedes. It's not going to be. He hasn't played in the big leagues in far too long. He is eligible, but he just wouldn't get that call. Although, boy, that would be a fun story. It would be almost like Kirk Gibson coming out to hit that game-winning home run for the Dodgers back in '88. I'm going to play it safe and say it's either Mendick or, if not Danny Mendick, if Brian Goodwin is healthy enough, it'll be Goodwin over Mendick. Mendick does provide a lot more versatility. So that does push Dallas Keuchel off the playoff roster. So then the question becomes, do you put Dallas Keuchel ahead of any of these pitchers right now? Obviously not ahead of Hendricks, Kimbrell, Tepera, Kopech, Crochet, maybe you could argue he should be in ahead of Lopez. I don't know. Bummer is definitely set in stone. Ruiz, maybe that's a little bit of a coin flip. I feel bad for him because he did, let's not forget Dallas Keuchel was the ERA leader last year with a sub-2 ERA. He was lights out for us. He was great. Just didn't have a great year for us this year. He will be back next year because of his contract. Right now, I just feel like there's probably no room for him. So that's how I'm seeing it, White Sox fans. I probably made it more confusing than it needed to be because I was just talking stuff through. I was kind of doing this live as we were going. But let me know what your take is. Would you make any changes? Do you see anything differently? And don't forget to make your comments below on your pick to click for who will be the best White Sox offensive performer against the Houston Astros. And play ball in October and go Sox.